In education, we hear an awful lot about behavior management. And what I have to say is if you tell that to a student like, hey, I'm managing your behavior, they're not going to be real happy about it. Nobody wants to be managed. Nobody wants their behavior managed. So one of the things that we do in our training programs is we try to look at it a little bit differently. We want to go from a relationship angle. So even if we are working with challenging students, our goal is to build relationship, because if we build a good relationship, we're not going to have to manage behavior. We're going to be on top of it from the beginning, and we're going to have enough relationship with the student to where we can fix something pretty quickly. So let's talk about how to handle challenging students through relationship rather than through behavior management. First strategy that I want to give you is this. My experience in schools, but also in training environments, is that most of the behavioral stuff that goes sideways or is not what we want to see happens in free time, or what I call free spaces. And the same is true in a school. Most of the behavior isn't happening in a classroom. It's happening on the time in between classes, or it's happening in a location on the campus where there are not adults to oversee the behavior. So two strategies. The first one is what we call coverage. So I'll give you an example. When we're doing our training programs, we're usually in one large training room, but we take a lot of breaks. And when we take a break, every member of our staff is assigned to go to a certain location on our site. So in a school building, for example, that would mean that every teacher, every staff person on every bell goes to a certain area and just kind of hangs out there. Now, it doesn't need to be policing and just staring at kids. No, in fact, take another staff person with you. You can still be having adult conversations, but you just want to be in an area where you've got all the corners covered. Because the reality is students are looking for an out. And what I mean by that is most students are good. They don't want to cause any trouble. They don't want to get into trouble. And if they're looking around and a friend says to them, oh man, you want to try this? And there's a little bit of peer pressure going on. If a student can look and go, oh no, there's Mr. So-and-so at the end of the hallway. I don't want to get in trouble. You're their out. So make sure that you are in coverage. And the second part of that is what we call visibility. Be visible. You don't have to be engaging the students. You don't have to walk up to every student, pretend to be their buddy, and tell a bunch of bad dad jokes. It's not that at all. Just be visible, be in the area that they are in, so that they can be prompted, if you will, to make better, more appropriate choices. So strategy one, coverage and visibility. Great. Strategy two, in terms of building relationship instead of managing students, is be polite. People like reminders, and actually reminders can help you to build a relationship that has way more trust in it from a student perspective. Let me give an example. One of the most powerful things that you can remind students of with frequency is just time. A lot of times when they're working, they get so immersed or they get so distracted that time goes quickly. And if you're the kind of person who just says, all right, you're going to have 10 minutes to do this, and then when it's 9 minutes and 59 seconds left, you go, okay, everybody's done now. Great, get over here. That, believe it or not, doesn't help you to build trust and will actually cause students to panic when they're in your working environment. So here's a better way to build relationship and trust with your students, and it's this, and helps you manage that behavior as well. It's this, when they do something. So let's say, okay, here's a new activity. You've got 10 minutes to get it done. I start giving time reminders every 2 minutes. So just gently, I'll walk around the classroom and say, great, you got about 8 minutes left. And I'll notice some students who maybe were slacking off for the first couple of minutes go, oh wait, we better get dialed in. And they start to get to work. And then I do it again. 6 minutes left, everybody. Raise your hand if you need some help, right? 4 minutes left. Put a hand up if you need some help. 2 minutes left. Start to clean up your workspace or put your final details in. 1 minute left. 30 seconds left. 10 seconds left. Great, everybody finish up. A couple things will happen. Number one, people will be more prepared. They will be ready. Number two, you've helped to manage the energy rather than the behavior. So you're prepping them to be successful. You're helping them to manage their time. We know, even as adults, we have a hard time managing time, so give them polite reminders as much as possible. So use polite time reminders to manage the energy of the classroom so you're not dealing with negative behavior. That's strategy two. Great, here's strategy three. Acknowledge positive behaviors. Sometimes it's really easy to get focused on the one negative energy in your classroom, that one kid that's in the corner that's constantly talking when you're talking, or not facing you when you really need their attention. It's easy to stop and kind of focus energy on them. Avoid that. It's a trap. What I'd rather have you do is, if you see a student doing something great, acknowledge that and do it publicly so that everybody else in the classroom hears it, sees it. What you're going to do is you're going to fortify what are the behaviors that are great in this classroom, and at the same time, those behaviors are going to get attention. Most of that other behavior, the stuff that's distracting or not productive behavior, is really just to get attention one way or another. So if they can see, oh, I can get attention and it can be done in a positive way, you're giving them an option behaviorally. So again, you're building relationship instead of managing behavior. So acknowledge positive behaviors, do it with frequency, do it verbally, do it outstandingly in front of the entire class so that people can really see, oh, that's how I get attention in this environment in a positive way. Now on to strategy number 4. Let's say those other things aren't always working, especially that acknowledging positive behavior, it's not sinking in for a particular student. Here's your next thing. Avoid singling them out in front of the group. So as much as possible, and I know it's tempting sometimes just to say to a kid, hey, sit up, pay attention, look this way. Even something small like that can make a kid feel like, oh man, I'm not as good as everybody else, or I just got into trouble. Depends how sensitive they are. So what you'd rather do, especially early in the years when you're building a relationship with your students, always try to engage one-on-one. So what that means is this: you don't have to catch them at some creepy time in the hallway where it's just the two of you. It means that once the work is started in the classroom, I want you to go over to their desk and get right down, at their level and just give them some quick feedback, one-on-one. And what's really critical here on the one-on-one is the feedback needs to be specific and it needs to be solution-based. You can say, hey, I noticed that you're having a hard time paying attention. What can I do? What can I do to help you pay attention? Do you need more opportunities to move your body? Is there a way that I can say this where it's going to help to make sense for it? Offer up some solutions, things that you can do from the teacher perspective. Let them go, oh yeah, that would help me a lot. This is going to help you identify how they learn. It's also going to show that, hey, this teacher's not just looking to get me in trouble or to make me feel bad. They're actually looking to help me, and they're willing to change, so I should be willing to change. And now you've got a relationship where people are committed to each other, to helping each other. So strategy is get one-on-one and give very specific feedback with solutions, things that we can do together or that you can offer to do to really help them as a student. One-on-one with solutions. Now the final strategy I want to give you is this, and this is kind of the end of the line in our process, that if there is a student that continues to demonstrate really challenging behavior and those other things haven't worked, one of the things that we want to do is we still want to give them a relationship way to create a solution or a positive change. And we call that a behavior contract. And what I'll do with a student at that point, if behavior has been reminded, they've been given one-on-one feedback, very specific. If I've done everything I can to try to help them, but something's still not shifting, I like to sit down with them and shape out a contract that just says, hey, if we're going to continue to work together, here are my standards in this relationship. Here's what needs to happen for me to feel comfortable still working with you as a learner. And I want you to either agree to those or say, nope, I can't do that, end of ball game. And in that behavior contract, we can literally write out some agreements and sign it. And so what this allows the student to do is to identify, okay, here's what I'm willing to do to stay in participation in this class with this particular educator in this classroom, in this situation. And it's also great to include a parent or a guardian in this process, either in the creation of it or as soon as it's been signed, send a copy, contact the family and say, hey, just so you know, here's the agreements that we've made so that your son or daughter or this student can remain in my classroom working in relationship with me so that we can learn together. So behavior contracts are the final step. There will be a download example of a behavior contract that you can take a look at, but that usually isn't necessary if you're doing those other things to create relationship earlier on.